Welcome back, everyone. We are here today, back with our second Cabral HouseCall of the weekend. Thanks so much for joining me. I appreciate you here on the weekends. If you're listening to this live, we answer our community's questions each and every Saturday and Sunday. We've been doing this now for about 7 years, and we've answered thousands upon thousands of questions. Keep in mind, if you have a question, very likely it's been answered before, and you can search for that topic at stevencabral.com/podcasts. There's a little search box there, and you'll be able to search for any topic such as Hashimoto's, rheumatoid arthritis, constipation, diarrhea, skin rashes, acne, like literally anything that you could possibly imagine, you'd be able to find at stevencabral.com/podcast. But if you can't find it, then feel free to ask at cabralsupportgroup.com for near same day answers, or write in at stevencabral.com/askcabral. And your question will be answered as, or in the order that it came in. So today's questions are coming in from early November, and we are at the end of January. So we've actually caught up a bit. So it looks like we're, 10 weeks, 11 weeks or so behind. We were 13 weeks before. So looks, it's always nice to catch up a bit. All right. So let's dive into today's questions. I just opened up the big document, and it looks like we left off at, I'm trying to find right here. Actually, mid-November, 11/12. This is episode 2551 if you'd like to follow along with today's questions. First question's from Anonymous. Anonymous wrote in and said, apologies. Anonymous wrote in, or this is actually Natasha. Natasha wrote in and said, "Hi, Dr. Cabral. Thanks for being here. I've been dealing with itching on the roof of my mouth, which then triggers the air for 10 months now. I thought it may be linked to food and histamines. However, I haven't been able to make any consistent correlations with any one food. For background, I believe I've had it intermittently since childhood, but never as severe or consistent until 21. No known illness at the time, but I did get a lot of mosquito bites on a trip to December. Ever since I got home, it has been a weekly occurrence. Labs in March showed elevated Epstein-Barr virus markers, so maybe they triggered the Epstein-Barr virus. I then did a restore phase and itching went away for 5 weeks. In May, I got the virus in June and itching came back in July. It's way worse at night and often wakes me. Yeah, any idea of what it might be viral? Okay, I'm happy to help with this. No doubt about it. Yeah, if it doesn't happen with a specific food, but it happens with eating and it got worse after mosquito bites, and then it got a little bit better. I don't know what you did, but certainly like a CBO protocol or immunity protocol, all these things will help. And then it got worse again after you got the virus. So what happens is when the body's in a state of inflammation, it's for the most part going to produce more what are called prostaglandins. These prostaglandins, there's all sorts of different series of prostaglandins, can induce a greater amount of histamines, leukotrienes, other inflammatory mast cell-based producing cytokines. Why this is an issue is that it's basically happening oftentimes with any foods we eat, or sometimes less and then sometimes more. And it goes back to the rain barrel effect. So for you, the biggest thing is emptying the rain barrel. Nothing very specific except that, again, I can't give you, on the podcast, no medical advice, medical treatment plans, no medical cures, no medical diagnosis. If it was me in this situation, I'd do a 21-day functional medicine detox. Then I would do, on every single day, I would be doing the immunity protocol and then the daily foundational protocol. And I would be using one product in addition to that called Hist Pro. That's what I'd do, right? Like that's the very beginning. Maybe I'd use the proteolytic enzymes. It just depends on how deep down the rabbit hole you want to get. But that's what I would do. Daily foundational protocol, Hist Pro, immunity protocol, and then I would do the 21-day functional medicine detox before that. That's what I do, and I would not overdo exercise. I would not overdo anything. I would try to add some sauna, some meditation, the whole de-stress protocol that I write about in the rain barrel effect. No doubt about it, that's exactly what I would do. So that's my starting point, and then of course, you can always do lab testing like the Big Five to see if there's underlying gut issues, heavy metals, etc. All right, and the Big Five and the immunity protocol, all of those things are at stevencabral.com/shop. That's 130 different products that we use in our practice. All right, Amanda's up next. Hi, Dr. Steven Cabral. I love your podcast and book. You are a wealth of knowledge and have a good heart. Thank you, Amanda. Appreciate that. I'm on day 8 of the 21-day detox. I'm doing it for the heavy metal detox and to improve PCOS symptoms. I've lost 10 pounds. I'm 5'5" and 114 pounds now. And I've been commenting that I look too thin. What do you suggest I do? Can I add oats, nuts, fruit, more avocado and olive oil to my diet during the detox? I'm adding berries, flax, and chia seeds to my morning smoothies. I don't want to waste away time. Will the liver detox still be effective? I also don't have huge appetite and I'm very active. I don't like the feeling of being too full. I stop eating at 6:30 p.m. Would appreciate your help. Amanda, always happy to help. You can ask these same exact questions at cabralsupportgroup.com. I definitely would do that. And that will, again, we've been supporting people all month long, but what I would do is this, like when you are doing a functional medicine detox, usually it's best, if possible, to do the first days as the liquid fasting days. You'll get better results. However, you could do smoothies all throughout the day, meaning like you could add berries to those, no problem at all. What most people do though, days 3 through 7 and beyond, is they add berries to their smoothies for breakfast and mid-afternoon. And then at lunch and dinner, they add their starches back. So they just add yams, sweet potatoes, like whatever root vegetables they want. Totally fine. You can add a little bit more olive oil and avocado. That's on the detox. No issues at all. So that's what I recommend. That's what I do. So that's what I do myself. I'm not looking to lose any more weight. And you can still get great detox results that way. So absolutely, you can do that. And you just eat for what you need. Like starches are energy foods. And if your body needs more energy, because you can see that because your body's losing weight, then you can absolutely do that with that. It's just it's an easier way to do it, no doubt about it. All right, thank you for writing in. Stephanie's up next. Hi, Dr. Cabral. First things first, a big thank you for all the free information you relay to your listeners. I've been able to figure out many diseases and repair my body. I'm happy to hear that it's worked, Stephanie. Thank you for writing in. Your question is, ever since I can remember from childhood, I've always had thoughts in my head. Not bad ones at all, but I'm always thinking about something. Could be music or someone is talking to me. I listen, but I'm always thinking about randomness. I open my eyes in the morning, boom, I have a song in my head, and then it's all day long. Before going to sleep is a constant issue because I can't fall asleep easily. I don't have any problems focusing when I need to or learning. I've tried parasympathetic bedtime routines, but I forget, to be honest. What can I do to calm my mind, not only at PM, but all day long? Thank you. Yeah, I totally understand that. I'm in that camp category as well. A lot of people who produce norepinephrine, like a lot of it, and dopamine are more prone to go, 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 and a restless mind. So myself and my youngest daughter are like that. My wife, my oldest daughter are not like that. So part of it is genetic, right? So what do? Well, what I can share with you is this, is that you begin to become more self-aware. You begin to understand that you are the thinker of the thoughts, and I can go deep into this. I'm not going to get deep into this. You can ultimately control your thoughts. You can listen to them, allow them to come in, allow them to go. And then you can induce parasympathetic nervous system activities, such as your meditation, your binaural beats. Those are highly effective. Going for a walk, that calms the body, which can calm the mind. And then great products that many people use, including myself, are things like full spectrum magnesium, adrenal soothe, and then the sleep help support at night, like the liquid melatonin. So all those things I found to be dramatically helpful in improving my ability just to stay calm and at balance and at ease, making sure that there's no digestive issues, heavy metal issues, etc. Those have been great. And then I use the I'm ready to go as just kind of a superpower. Like, oh, great. Like, I'm not going to try to turn this off completely. I'm just going to try to harness it, right? So that it doesn't burn me up, because it can with a restless mind. I used to be a complete insomniac. So very, very helpful, to be able to do these things. And so everybody has their own way of doing it. I've talked about my bedtime routine many times. No blue light. If you check out my 3-2-1 formula for bed, that was just on a previous podcast. Let's see if I can find it for you. That is, let's just see here. It was episode 2526. So you can go to stephencabral.com/2526, and that's a nice little bedtime routine too for winding down. All right. So hopefully that was helpful. Happy to do follow-ups as well. Alicia is up next. Hi, Dr. Cabral. What is the best place to store coffee as bags with coffee beans? I heard you once say fridge is not good because mold can grow there. How about the freezer? I put my coffee to my freezer if I buy a bigger batch. Is it safe or is this a risk for mold too? Is regular pantry shelves better than a freezer? Thanks for all you do. Yeah, great question. You know what? I still stand by that. I store almost zero nutritional supplements in the fridge. Do I store any in the fridge? Only my omega-3 fish oil. That's it. But that can actually be stored out of the fridge too, because we do small bottles of that. Yeah, no, and it's a light safe bottle. Fish oil, I do for me, but you don't have to do that. I don't store anything else in the fridge. No, I don't. Just food. That's it, right? Produce. So, okay, let me share with you a couple reasons why. You're absolutely right. You don't want to store coffee beans for the most part in the fridge because there can be moisture that can lead to mold. So I'm not a huge advocate of that. Here's a couple other reasons why I keep my coffee beans in a sealed bag or an airtight glass canister. I do that for a couple reasons. One, I don't want the air getting into the beans, which just creates over time oxidation to those beans. That's just oxygen in general, right? So you try to keep them in a Ziploc bag. Again, you can use a silicone bag. You don't have to use actually, plastic bags or an airtight canister like we offer at EcoLife. Again, you can get them anywhere, of course. We just have the Eco ones that are glass with the bamboo lids, and those are pretty tight. So those work great. And the other part is that I always recommend not buying enormous bags of coffee or coffee beans. And so the reason is that most people then are going to use those beans within 30 days, just like they would use a bottle of olive oil, a bottle of coffee beans. Try not to buy the ones that you could store after open for like 6 months, right? I know that they're a little cheaper, but at the same time, they're going to go rancid faster. The coffee isn't going to taste as good. So that's my recommendation. You could put them in the freezer. So I'm not saying that you can't. The freezer can still get moisture. It absolutely can. So if you're going to do that, then you want to seal them. You'd only do that if they were already sealed. And if they're sealed, then they're going to be fine in a cabinet. So I don't see any reason to put them in a freezer. Again, that's my opinion. I haven't really looked into the freezer thing, but for me, I have no need to put them in a freezer. You may, right? I just buy small bags. And that's what I do. And it's just a normal size bag, whatever they are. I think it's like a pound and a half or so of the beans, I believe, somewhere around that. So yeah, that's that. So hopefully that was helpful. All right, Ashley's up next. Ashley says, I have a 20-month-old who has sudden onset of alopecia areata at 18 months old. So basically 2 months ago. No family history, started with a small patch on the top, grown to one larger section, about the size of an orange. The podcasts you have on alopecia mainly focus on adults. Is there a different testing protocol you recommend for younger kids? We went dairy and gluten-free when she was 3 months old and have slowly been reintroducing them over the last 6 months. She is nursing. Her cradle cap and some eczema returned, so we are going back to the complete dairy-free, gluten-free. We have a healthy, happy family life. Swim lessons was the only stress she endured at 18 months. Her doctor offered to prescribe her low-dose naltrexone and steroid creams, but I'm weary to give her anything or apply anything foreign. In order, which tests would we get for her? Thank you so much. Okay, yeah, I appreciate you writing in. Happy to help with this. Almost always as a young child, again, I'm not providing any medical diagnosis or medical treatment plans or medical advice. Here's the thing. If it was my daughter and she was 18 years old or 18-year-old son or daughter, I would do this 100%. Like if you're not going to lab test, if you're going to lab test, here's what I'm doing. Starter kit. Can you do the starter kit? Yeah, you can with the 20-month-old for sure. It's a little young for food sensitivity testing. It really is. Regardless of testing, if I see eczema, cradle cap, and the alopecia, so alopecia basically is hair loss, I'm 100% doing an elimination diet for both mom who's nursing and child. 100%. And you might get all the results you're looking for right from that. Eczema is almost always a sign of a food sensitivity. And in my practice, it's almost always linked to some of the main food sensitivities. Dairy, cow's milk, eggs, white, the gluten for sure. And sometimes I'll see it with certain nuts or things like that, but not as often. Okay, so yeah, I'm doing elimination diet, definitely dairy-free, definitely gluten-free for at least 4 weeks, ideally more like 6 weeks. And I'm probably doing some healthy gut support, meaning like I'm doing the clean gut probiotic and just opening the capsule and putting it in water for them to drink. Half a capsule, that's what I'm looking at, maybe up to a capsule once they have done that for 2-3 weeks with a half a capsule. Yeah, 100%, that's what I'm doing. So I would start there, and then you can look into all different lab tests if needed. I just don't think you're going to. That's what I'm looking at. But again, it can be autoimmune based, but these autoimmune issues can come from the dairy and the gluten. So I'm eliminating dairy, I'm eliminating gluten, I'm eliminating eggs if I don't do anything else, all right? And then probably nuts as well. Nuts, soy, for sure. Okay, can we get one more question in? Let's get one more question in. Patrick's up next. Hey doc, hope all is going well. I'm asking this question for my son. He's about to be 17 and has been hitting the gym hard for the past year. He's 5'9", weighs 150. He's very toned and in good shape, but really wants more mass. What would be the best way for him to get enough protein and do it all without having to eat so much bad food or massive amounts of food? He already takes your DNS shake every day, but is there any healthy protein shakes or mass builders you'd recommend? Appreciate everything you do and your team does. Thank you. Happy to help. This was me. I was 5'8", about 148, 150 pounds at 17 years old. So I totally get it. I understand. Here's the issue. Especially for teenagers that are athletic, it's so hard to out-eat your metabolism, but there is a way to do it. You still have to get the calories in. There's no doubt about it. But get your vitamins and minerals. He's already doing that with the DNS, so you're good. Literally you're good. So now what do we need to do? We need for him to actually track, just for a week, how much he's eating on a daily basis, what are the average calories on a daily basis, and then we need to increase that by at least 500 calories. That's the way that we have to do it realistically. Now, the nice thing is this. It's not that hard to do. So if he's eating 3 meals a day, or I'm probably gonna have to do 4 meals a day, right? So shake, typically the easiest way to do it, when I do this when I'm working with people who wanna gain weight, is I go shake, meal, because shakes are easier to break down, digest, and so then it allows you to eat the next meal. So we can get up to 3,000-4,000 calories a day really easily with shake, meal. That's it. Because our shakes are going to be somewhere around 800 calories and our meals are going to be somewhere around 1,000 to 1,200 calories. Now, again, I know this people are like, oh, it's a nice problem to have. I get it. But as someone who had difficulty gaining weight when I was a teenager, it's a challenge, right? And so it is what it is. And then what you're doing is you're breaking your protein down there. So for shakes, they're going to want to get more protein. They're going to want to add more to the DNS. And what do you recommend? Well, it could be a plant-based powder, or if they're not, they would, have your 17-year-old run a food sensitivity test, an IgG food sensitivity test at stephencabral.com/labs. They can do it right at home. And if they're not sensitive to whey protein, use a whey protein if you want to. It's easier to gain mass with the amino acids from whey than it is straight plant-based. But it's totally up to the individual. I still like doing a lot of plant-based. Goat whey protein is even cleaner than cow's whey, so that can be a nice choice. And then, you're going to up that. And then also a lot of, I overtrained when I was a teenager. I would have been better off training 3 days a week hard with weights rather than 5 days a week. Because if you do Monday, Wednesday, Friday, then you give your body more time to build back up. And again, it's all obviously you as a parent if you feel comfortable, but you can use creatine. So a child could, not a child, a 17-year-old who's kind of full grown could use creatine if they wanted to. They don't need to use mega doses. They can use 5 grams a day for 8 to 10 weeks. They could do that. So yeah, hopefully that's helpful. I think that's a good place to start. These are all obviously healthy tips that I would do with my own son or daughter if they wanted to gain weight. And this is a cleaner, healthier way to do it. Again, olive oil adds extra calories. Avocado to any meal adds extra calories. Simple, easy ways to do it. All right. Thank you for writing in, Patrick. I can't wait to hear that success story with you and your son. And I appreciate you, everybody, always looking out for your friends, your family. That's what this community is all about. So appreciate you. I'll be back tomorrow with a brand new Mindset and Motivation Monday.